My dear people of Guam, 2 weeks ago at the Rotary Club debate, I asked Governor Calvo a simple question. Did you give a $3.6 million tax write-off to one of your family businesses? And if you don't want to answer the question, would you submit to an independent forensic audit of the tax records? Instead of giving a straight answer, he ignored the question. Last week, at the Guam Medical Association debate, I asked him again if he had given a $3.6 million tax write-off to one of his family businesses this year, and he still ignored the question. And just a couple days ago, he released a video where he evaded the question again. Instead of saying whether or not he gave write-offs to one of his family businesses, he gave a lawyerly answer. He claims not to have given tax write-offs to a family member, but he does not actually deny giving it to one of his family businesses. I am sorry, Governor. You are not fooling anyone. He went on further with the gimmick of calling on Public Auditor Doris Brooks to audit the records. What was asked of him was for an independent audit, not an audit by a former Republican senator who just a few months ago gave in to pressure from him to cook the books and turn a $27 million deficit into a $3 million surplus. And finally, just to distract people further, Governor Calvo rehashed allegations about me that were first raised, not 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but in a political campaign 16 years ago. He is doing all this just to avoid answering a simple question. Did you give a $3.6 million tax write-off to one of your family businesses this year? You know, Eddie is just repeating allegations that were started 16 years ago and have been totally disproven. And if anyone thinks they were not all thoroughly investigated by the media, Doug Moylan, and 12 years of Republican administrations, then they are just not living on the same island as the rest of us. But you know, Eddie, if you want answers again to these old tired questions, then here they are. Number one, I bought a Runal from Pedro Artero for $220,000. I constructed the house with our own family resources, and anyone interested can go to the Department of Land Management and look up the deed. Number two, there is no running water or power servicing you now. I have solar panels for electricity, and I haul in water like any other landowner up there. And number three, no monies were ever given to me or my family for living in our own home while I was governor. And Eddie, all you have to do is ask Benita Manglonia at the Department of Administration if you want to find out the facts. Number four, all government records regarding travel are public documents, which you, Governor Calvo, control access to, not me. Ask Benita. She has them, and anyone can look it up in the PDN archives because they published all of it. Just because the PDN doesn't publish your travel records doesn't mean they did not fully publish mine. And by the way, I have never had a GovGuam credit card. And finally, the plaster wall around my house was there 15 years before I became governor. It is not brick, and the so-called red brick color is the same color used in countless structures around the world. Eddie, I have been fully vetted and I'm tested, and I doubt if you would be able to withstand the level of investigation and scrutiny that my family and I have had to endure. So Eddie, you have the answers to your questions. Will you now finally answer the simple question that you have avoided 3 times? Did you give a $3.6 million tax write-off of interest and penalties to one of your family businesses this year? And if you don't want to answer the question, will you submit to an independent forensic audit? Not Doris Flores Brooks. Eddie, the people of Guam deserve the truth.